Hey everybody, it's Mike over here at Growtopia. And yes, this is part 2. Turn that down a little bit. Now, of course, we're going back into what's next, right? It's sowing the seeds into the soil. And also, it's also putting it on the heat mats. If you want to put it into your garden, that's all your choice. But this is all heat mat and grow light related. So in case this is not what you want to look at, move on. But anyway, let's get to growing. So the first thing we're going to do is we've got a big bed of seeds here. We've got sweet corn, cucumber, cotton, loofahs. We got Taylor dwarf beans. We got garden beans, and we got squash. We got basil. We got okra. We got basil. Sorry, the basil Genovese. We got basil large Italian. We got sunflowers. We got foxgloves. We got blanket flower. We got hoxie. Hollyhocks, I call it hoxies. Also got lance leaf tick seed. Nevertheless. So, how do we sow? Well, sow depending on what you're doing. But, we're going to listen to some music and you're going to watch me sow away. I'm going to show you guys where we put stuff. When temperatures rise, there might be some drinking involved, so stay tuned. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends and family. This is Mike over here at Growtopia. And also, there might be some interesting info on the seeds that I'm sowing that are going to be growing, that I'm going to be harvesting the fruit from and eating it. That's a reference to corn. Anyway, try not to make the video too corny. So, one of our many seed trays that I normally put peat pods into, I decided to go for, grab my Fat Man bar stool, because the shirt says it's warning. Somebody might be fat on camera. So normally I would put it in peat pods. I'm starting to want to really deter myself from the peat pods in a way. The peat pods are great. Okay, don't get me wrong, I love the peat pods for starting, but then for extending their growth, nothing seems to survive, nothing seems to last, nothing seems to constantly keep going. I know I keep saying the same thing. So I'm thinking, if I take a tray like everybody else does in the world, I mean, there's a lot of people that use different types of soil, but we're using a soil that I came up with tonight. And I want to see if this soil will run with what I'm growing in it this year. Being that I'm taking a break from giant growing space, and I'm thinking about maybe extending it, maybe putting some little bit of more work into it, and turning it into something else that I can actually extend myself into. Now, this isn't for 30 people. This isn't for supermarkets. This is just for regular home growers. So let's get into it. Let's get into seeding, alright? So I'm going to turn up the music a little bit. Before we do that, the first thing I'm going to start off with is my loofahs. And unfortunately with loofahs, they need 200 days before you can get the sponge. I want a loofah sponge in 2026. That I grow. Now, there's also the fruit you can harvest ahead of time. And we're running out of time. With these temperatures, roller coasting like the freaking people in New York, it's tough. It's 100 days until you get fruit, and then it's like 100 or 200 days until you get the loofahs. Now, I've watched people throughout the zones that actually were getting loofahs late with their temperatures. So in Zone 7A, Long Island, New York, in Holbrook, the last time I looked at the temperature sensor that I have outside my house, we're looking about 70 right now. Now we're supposed to be hitting the 80s and 90s, which is great for peppers, but horrible if you go above that for tomatoes. So tomatoes are going to definitely have to go outside. Peppers could be in the greenhouse. Okra could be in the greenhouse. We got an okra on tap as well. And the loofahs and cotton is going to go outside, such as, and when I say outside, I mean like not in the greenhouse. So is the corn, and so is a lot of things. So I'm going to be putting stuff in a lot of random different areas anyway. I know it sounds crazy, it sounds like I'm all over the map, but it's like in my head, it's a constant spiral of like, I look at everything and like, where am I going to put it, where am I going to stick it, and try to tell you guys what I'm doing, in case you guys are in the vicinity of me, or you're thinking about doing it, or you're scared about spending the money. And it really depends on the money, of course, but also it depends on another factor. Do you really trust what's coming out of the supermarket? I mean, a strawberry that I've eaten and my mother and my whole family have eaten for years, apparently carcinogenic. Talking to a guy today at work about meat from supermarkets that him and I buy from for years, over 20 years. And now it tastes like you're eating your sweater, like grandma knitted a piece of meat and try to cook it. But then if you buy it from somebody else that's from a farm, it tastes like the way it did years ago. Nevertheless, grow from home, do stuff from home. You know what? That's it. And local farms, I salute you guys out there, men and women out there. You're doing stuff the right way. We don't want to turn into London, trust me. If we turn into London, I will bet your ass there will be a video of me in my army truck with a shit spreader on the back of it spraying the government. I know. Oh, wait. The government. I was shitting all over those fuckers. Anyway. You want to stop us from doing what our American right is? What soldiers have fought. People have lost. And they want to take our rights away. It doesn't matter where your political view is. This is where your view should be. It's growing for yourself. So anyway, I'm sorry to keep going on with that. Get my dusty arms off and my fatty nilly billies. Let's get down to planting. So the loofahs, loofah gorge, like I said before in the last one, I hate to say it all the time. Like, subscribe, share, your friends and family, report it to the government. Maybe they'll wake up and fucking smell the roses. Start indoors 2 to 4 weeks before frost. I tried that. Transplant seedlings after 4 weeks. I tried that. You know what happened? It was an airplane. Cloud seeding from the government. And we couldn't do that. So, we start them again. We have just enough time, if I don't stop fucking talking, that we can take our loofah seeds and transplant them, or plant them, not transplant them. So we're looking at about a quarter of an inch. So you guys always wonder, like, what's a quarter of an inch? Like I've always said, like, what do you think like Mother Nature would do, right? Mother Nature's not out there with a tape measure a quarter of an inch down with a ruler and shit. Just dust the soil, put your seed in, that's it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We've got 18 seeds. Just going to dust the soil. I'm going to drop our seed. See, I don't want people to get nutty about it, you know? That's the worst thing. You know, what's funny is, like, I used to get really nutty years ago, and I'm talking about years ago, even way before I started filming. I used to get nutty years ago, and I would watch it. My mother would do it, and she would grow some amazing peppers inside her greenhouse in her old house. And she was using all these chemicals and these fertilizers and stuff that I didn't know what they were until years later. And we were buying plants from the store, and we were making stuff grow. Which is great. I've run out of seed. I can steal seed from you. And what I learned from that was that mainstream world is the worst thing of all. We literally depleted all these seeds. 40 seeds. We depleted them. But I still have a packet from a different company. But what I'm getting at is that don't always think that what you're doing isn't good enough. You know, I always thought that what I wasn't doing was good enough, and I started experimenting. I started laying seeds on top of the soil. I started playing around with stuff, and I would watch Mother Nature. I have oak trees, early starter oak trees, growing out of a pile of wood chip mulch. And that gives me an inspiration, realizing that nature finds a way, right? So, if we're worried about, okay, the depth of it, that sounds great. But if it falls from the plant, it lands on the ground, and nothing gets to it, and then a little dusting of soil and leaves and dirt and snow and frost and more dirt and more snow builds up a couple layers. But then it grows after those layers. Is it really the layers that they tell us that we need? Or is it that we can play with it? Just letting everybody know, you know, just a different outlook on things. You know, don't always focus on, you gotta like take a measurement. I've talked to so many people that are trying to do home growing and they focus on the largest amount is the inches. Don't focus on that. Focus on what you're growing. Don't focus on what the bag says. You know, put your soil together. If it grows, it doesn't grow, you tried. That's the biggest key. That's what I tell people. You know, you try to do something. And when I first started this, getting it a little bit harder than where it was back in the day, where I just threw shit together and randomly seeded stuff, and then I started focusing on stuff, and I wasn't filming. I really should have filmed. And I would sit there and I would look at a tray and it like this, and I'd put soil in it, and I put seeds in it, and then I would say, well, this is not going to grow. So I put it in a container, add a little bit of water, throw it on a heat mat, I put a dome on top of it, I put a grow light over it, and I check it every day. Nothing. I was like, I should have listened to the back of the bag, right? And then all of a sudden, 4 days later, I see this little stem come up. Little tiny stem. I'm like, what's that? Next day I come home from work. That stem had a leaf. That's when I realized that it doesn't take science, it doesn't take knowledge, it doesn't, knowledge, yes, but it doesn't take fancy degrees, it doesn't take anything. Everybody can do this. And that's what I literally want to tell people, because I've talked to so many people who claim they can't do it, and I did it just for the hell of it. And then I turned a little experiment into a whole room of lights and fans and trays and so on and so forth, and greenhouses and a big growing space. And getting my first harvest was amazing. So even though a lot of us this year, or a lot of people in different zones, if you feel like giving up, don't give up. Because that feeling of seeing that first leaf, even if it dies, it should give you an exhilaration knowing that a simple little act that you did, you're able to make life. So, as we move on, we take our loofahs, we're going to put them to the side and keep growing on. Grab our next tray here. Alright, so our next tray of soil, and as I bob and weave into here, next target on our list is sweet corn. Oh, we got cucumber as well. Oh yeah, stick you suckers. Ah, here we are. So our next one we have here is cucumbers. Now cucumbers are great. You can grow cucumbers, tomatoes, beans. I'm sorry, I didn't really get into the Junie related items. But we have a package we can't open because the glue is superior than my fingers can open. So we have some cucumber seeds, and they're kind of small, but same thing. What if they were dropping down from below, right? Or just dust the soil. When I say dusting, just a little feathering, whatever it is, half an inch, whatever. Just dust it. Don't get crazy. Don't get nutty. Don't worry about it. A lot of people are going to say, oh, you got to go an inch depth. You got to go a half an inch depth. You got to, you know, sit outside and pray to the rain gods, and that's what it. You could put one seed. I'm going to do one seed. How about that? We'll do one. Well, that's got 3. Take that one, put it there, and take that one, put it there. Do one seed. Could do 2 seeds. One seed, one seed. There's really no science behind it. I mean, a lot of people say there is, but there isn't. You know, a lot of farms are getting probably, I wouldn't say the same seeds, but they're getting seeds that either they're regrown themselves, if they can. There are restrictions, but also there's a little leeway. You know, you can get seeds from other people. You can trade seeds for other seeds. Everybody can have seed parties. There are seedy parties. I'm not going to go into that, but there are parties where there's seeds involved. No, they're not at Diddy's house. Sorry, I had to do a dab. And no, they're not Virgin Islands Blue and White House with Ellen over there. But sorry, had to put that out there as well. She went to London. Get covered in shit. And that is our cucumbers. Now the cucumbers and like the loofahs are all gonna like the same kind of temperature range. We're looking at like 75, 80 degrees better. And because it's a different soil composite, I'm not watering anybody today. So for the rest of tonight, there's no water for everybody. Tomorrow I'll give them a little drizzle. Because versus like the peat pods where I was soaking water, I know they got water for at least 3 or 4 days. So I'm not going to water them. I get the window open, and that's all I need. I'm just going to play with it that way. And what grows, what grows. What doesn't grow, what doesn't grow. What do we got to lose, right? Nothing. Well, maybe a little bit. But everything is renewable. The soil, the plants, etc. Right? Alright, so we're going to grab our next tray here, and our next tray we're going to grab here is our sweet corn. So sweet corn, which is really cool. So we're going to go into sweet corn, or just corn in general. So if you ever tried to grow your own corn, the biggest thing is location, and what you're using for fertilizer, and how you planted it. Now you can start it indoors, you could direct sow it. I'm starting it really late. I was talking to a farmer today. His corn is about this high. I was really jealous. I took a photo of it too. It's not going to be in the video. But I was really jealous when I saw the size of his corn. And because he started it early, like farmers do, and we're starting it now because, well, the last batch died out. So we're going for peaches and cream sweet corn. Now normally this runs great. I was running trying to run some other stuff. It didn't take off. So we're going to do peaches and cream. I'm going to do 2 seeds per hole. Now, if they take off, we could separate them very carefully. We can plant them into the ground. How does corn... Now, if you're doing it this way, it's not the way that it's done commercially. Okay? Commercially, meaning like in a real farm, they plow the field, they run the seed at the right amount of intervals. Okay? The reason why it's done in rows is not for aesthetics. It's not for the aliens to land down and make a crop circle, giving the fingers to somebody that you might know, or making a weird random shape. The reason why that corn is put in rows is because on the bottom of the corn, you have the bottom and you have the top. Okay? You have the male and the female. So the tassels on top have the pollen on it, which is the male part of the corn. And the bottom, you have the corn cob that'll start sprouting off. That has the silks. Every silk, one silk is one corn kernel. Okay? It has to come down, get onto the silk. That's what makes it ear of corn. The reason why they're put close together is that when they're blowing in the wind, this way, that way, this way, all different ways, they all fertilize themselves. Now, if you're running a straight row, you might have to go out there and start doing some, OnlyFans crap that nobody really wants to see. What was that sound? You got to do some weird shit. Okay, I'm not talking about just like cucumbers or squashes and stuff with a Q-tip, going from the male to the female. I'm talking about the wind has to move the plant around. I've done it. I've literally gone out there, and my neighbor was watching me one time. I had 2 rows of corn. I was out there shaking them. I was blasting music, and he asked me a couple of days later, he goes, "What the hell were you doing?" I was like, "I'm fertilizing my corn." I was like, that sounds really bad. But I did, and I got some corn cobs. They weren't full, but I got something. And then I started doing research, and I realized that's why they're in rows, and they're tight together. So even though we're starting with 1 tray, that's 15, we're going to try to get 30 in here. And if not, we smush them together, and we go from there, right? We're going to take our little handy dandy tool and dusty up the soil. Got some of our sweet corn. Like I said, 2 per hole. Amplifies our possibilities. Now it was funny too, because I was not going to grow corn this year, and that was just because I was so focused on other stuff that I wasn't really going to grow it this year. But I was like, you know what? I'm like, let me grow it this year, even though we're going to be redoing the orchard. Why should I demise, it's kind of stuff that I kind of want to do. I know we have not got to blanket seeding yet, which I really want to show people that, but we're going to get to that very shortly, maybe. If you're still with us, it's good. 2 more seeds to stick in the hole. Hope you guys are enjoying and liking the video. If I'm funny or not, it's great. I'm not here to I try to be a little funny, but I'm also here to kind of tell you people stuff. It was funny, for years my mother was, which I learned from her, you're going to see like the soil's going to sink too, when you add some water to it. like I said, we're not going to add water until tomorrow. It kind of screws up the schedule. So maybe, do I do it tomorrow or do I do it Friday? Usually I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's how I water. But who knows? Maybe I'll throw it up a little bit. But my mother used to do is with cucumbers and I think kiwi too. She used to go out there with a Q-cup and go from a Q-tip and go out there from the male to the female and made magic happen. And it worked instead of a greenhouse. Because otherwise, if it was outside, the bees would do it. So. Alright. Let's see, what else we got on this list of many things here. Oh. Got some other cool stuff I want to show you as well. When I can do another tag of sweet corn. Get rid of that. Let's see. We have tickets here. Bunch of tickets, right? We're not gonna do how that ended up in there. Do that one as well. Right in the back of a lot of them. Let's see. I like to reuse what I can. Use that later. Oh, there you are. Stupid tag I was looking for is in front of my face the whole time. But, let's see. They're cheap enough. You can just use them, reuse them, throw them away, whatever. I don't even look at them anymore as like a cost. Just use them, reuse them. If they're in the container. Otherwise, they get thrown away. So the next one we're going to try to piggyback into is actually cotton. So I actually have a tray of cotton that is running. So we're actually going to grab the tray of cotton and pull it out of its hungry home. And we're going to put some soil in it. And then we're going to put some cotton seeds in it. So that's a definitely cool situation, right? So here's a tray that I have with cotton in it. Now everything was growing, but everything died out. So we're going to take the pods, and throw the pods into the bucket, like such. And we're going to leave one pod. The reason why we're leaving one pod is not only is because it's holding up the tag, but it's also a nice good watering point, right? So we have our cotton that's been here since 4/16/26, or one cotton plant. So we're gonna backfeed it, but we're not gonna backfeed it. You know why? We are gonna backfeed it. Are we gonna backfeed it? Yeah, we'll backfeed it. Alright, see if I had a tray available. We're going to rip apart our pods. Don't worry, don't think it's like too much peat moss. Or peat pot, yeah, peat moss. You could also take like the the bags, just put it into your pod, you know, into your cell tray like this one. Get rid of the bag material. You know, take a couple little bags, kind of throw it in there. Get rid of it that way. Well, it's going to all biodegrade, so biodegradable material. So I'm going to take all our bags, put them in there. They do break down. I've seen it. Not just me bullshitting. It is literally, I've seen it. Might come across some sticks and stuff here and there, but or the same stick. Come here. I'm gonna break you up and stick you into a little tray. Take a bag here, put a bag there. Oh, we got some bags over there. Bags off to the side, grab some more soil. Nice and clean and dandy. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my little guy out. Just because it deserves a nice little soil bed, you know? If everybody else is going to get like a nice little soil bed, why not that one, right? So I made a little hole so it gets a little bit more nutrients. And just kind of plant it like that in here. Alright? Look at that. Looks a little bit better, right? Even though it's going to go outside, but just for the time being. Wash my hands, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Alright. Oh, there goes a wee woo. Wee woo. Wee woo. Sorry. There's a wee woo going by. Anyway, so now a little bit too big. That's fine though. Rough it up a little bit. I'm going to leave this as like a nice little watering spot. Grab our cotton seeds. That's what we got. That's bad. Out of 25 seeds, we literally only have one left. So we have, wow, that sucks. That's all I actually literally have. So I got one cotton seed left. I have this one that's growing. I'm going to put this little cotton seed down here. Just like that. I'm going to take this emblem, put it here. I'm going to put it here as well. I'm going to put it here. Put it here. I'm going to leave that open for watering. So with that devastating news, all I have is literally one cotton seed left after this one. So I'm not going to buy any more this season. If they don't grow, they don't grow. But this is going to be my boy. I'm going to keep an eye on. more than I do normally with plants. It's got better soil. We started another one. We have a tray that we can put stuff into. I don't want to waste a tray with the soil in it, right? So now it comes down to, what are you going to stick in it? Well, let's see. I'm going to go to the thermometer and let's see what it says. So it was sitting at 70 degrees, which was good enough for the bag. So, you know what? I'm going to put the bag back in here. So the bag sat dead center of the tray, right? So 70 degrees dead center. The guys are still with me, that's great. So 70 degrees, that is great. What else could we stick in here? Do beans. We could do Taylor beans. We could do perennial flowers. But you know what? Honestly, seeing that I literally had one seed left literally gave me a feeling. I'm telling you, deadass, this is literally the last seed I have, unless I buy more of it. I have one cotton plant growing out of the whole tray. They're just fucking doing good. So you know what? I'm going to leave the tray empty. I'm going to start all my other plants after the fact and put it back into the tray. I already got watered today, so I know it's good. I'm going to watch it every day. I'm going to put it someplace that's important to me and see if it grows where I want it. And I pick up my own cotton, make my own pillows. Right? I bought a bunch of pillows that are better than what I had for over 20 years. But I want to grow my own cotton, pick my own cotton, and make my own pillows. So I know it sounds like emotional, but no, seriously, like literally. So I'm going to put this off to the side, the way the tray is, and that's it. We're going to transition over to flats, and the video will be over. After that, all the other stuff I'll do on my own. But finding out I only have one seed left over in the packet, it's quite fun, emotional. And that's where you really want to, I hope people are realizing, you know, the growth that's available that you can actually do. I mean, look how cool this is, right? I know the camera's kind of far away, but look at that. You know, just something simple like that can just literally exhilarate you and just change the way your outlook on life is, change the outlook on the way you feel about things in the world and nature, and just eliminate yourself from the world around you. You don't have to be a hippie. I don't even smoke pot. I don't do drugs. I can't. Legally. Homeland Security will not let me do that. No, I do not work for Homeland Security. I wish. Guess you guys are hiring. But through what I do for a living, I am not allowed as a truck driver dealing with hazardous chemicals and material. I'm allowed to have planetorial fun, but I can in my own way. And this makes me smile. Makes me smile, makes me feel alive inside. As alive as this plant is. That's listening to me right now thinking you have had way too much to drink and now no sleep. But anyway, let's go to a flat. So a flat is this. Something I'm starting new this year. And the reason why I'm starting this is not for anything selling or promotional. It's literally the same soil that I put into a bigger container. And the reason why I wanted to start something like this is kind of like I said at the sod farms, right? They grow grass. If you have not watched the machines in person like I have, or operated on one, they're insane. You know, like I never thought that a weird machine that comes back from like the 70s, that has specialized blades and conveyor belts that can cut the right depth below the grass that's growing and pull it up. And you get these little double wheels, right? These little bowls, right? You get these little, like, not croissants, but they almost look like a croissant, right? You get these little cinnamon rolls. That's the word I was looking for. You get these cinnamon rolls of grass. And it blows my mind. And I watch it in person, right in front of my face, and operate it on those machines. And it's amazing on how this technology is available. It's been around for years. So I took that idea and I said, you know what? I was like, what if I do that with plants, right? Not crops. Okay, there's a difference. There's plants, there's crops, there's flowers, there's this, that, and the other. I call them plants. Okay? So you got the crops, the stuff that you're going to eat. Get the plants. They're going to be around for a little bit. The annuals and stuff. They're fun to look at. I'm talking about plants. I'm talking about perennials. Okay, I want stuff to be around when I'm gone. I want stuff to be around so that eventually when I sell my house, I move to like Tokyo or Rio or, you know, wherever I plan on leaving this country at a moment's notice, is that the plants that I have there will stay around. It's not reason why I want them to stay around. It's just I want them to be around. I have foxglove growing in my front yard that are from the seeds that I'm going to be planting today. And I go out there and I was mowing. I was staring at them. I was looking at them like the angle and the flowers and the glove of them. And it made me feel alive because I knew that I planted it from a seed. I put it in a pod. And I stuck it in my area. I stuck it outside of my pond. And it grew into this plant that's big. And I could see it in person, not just from a photo. And that's why I hope that everybody has that same feeling of that energy, that even if you feel like you don't have that energy, when you finally get something growing, that energy is going to come into play. And no matter what is going on in the world, it doesn't matter. So I know I keep talking about it, but I love it. It floors me, and there's a lot of times this year I was just saying, fuck this, I'm going to throw in the towel, this, that, and the other, this is garbage. And when I say this, that, and the other, I mean like, you know, this ain't growing, that ain't growing, this weather, this storm, the planes that are polluting the air, and I'm going to put filters and this, that, and the other. I'm doing water tests and soil tests, so what's nothing growing? Temperatures. But we could always go a different way. You know, go a different way. Like tomatoes are going to grow. Tomatoes is two different kind, right? So you got the indeterminates and you got the determinates. I'm going to show you in a tray the difference, because you know what? A lot of people don't really understand the difference between indeterminate and determinate. So, indeterminate tomatoes, they are viney. Determinates are straight. They're determined to go as straight as they can. Okay? Is what a lot of people can get from your local stores. I know this is not completely what I wanted to do right now. But I want to show you guys on a tray of what I got growing on. Of two different tomato plants. Indeterminate and determinates, and the difference. Now, if you go to your local box store, I'm talking about like Home Depot, Lowe's, True Value, shit, I forgot a lot of them that are out west. I ran through a lot of them stuff. Driving across the country from California back to New York, I saw a lot of cool stuff. Enjoyed it. I love it. I kind of love Kansas. Sorry, everybody in New York, but I do like Kansas a lot. A lot of Kansas reasons. But anyway, nevertheless, if we are looking at the difference between an indeterminate and a determinate, but don't crush the tray, this is an indeterminate. So it's a viney tomato, and this is determinate. You can see how they kind of run straight. Other than that's how I'm growing them. Now this is an indeterminate that's actually growing straight, which is kind of rare. The reason why it's growing straight is because give it a couple days and it's going to go, ooh. You can even see, like, if I even tuck it down, you could see some of the viney, how they're vining down. Now on the far side, you can see how the determinate tomatoes are growing straight. It gives you a different option of different things that you can do, right? So if you want to grow viney tomatoes that are 20 feet tall, like I have, I'm 5'9" and shrinking. Well, you can grow those. This year, I got a little bit of those. I got some, as they call them, patio tomatoes, which is the shorter guys. So tiny Tims. They only grow to a foot tall, wherever that is, and about a foot wide. And they get a lot of tomatoes. I had one of them last year and it was booming. So I got more of those this year. I'm going to put them in a pot, get them growing. I'm going to put them all over my yard, everywhere I go. I got a tomato, right? Something that's great that you can just grow easily. And this does not have enough soil in it. You can grow it easily. And if you don't want to grow it, you can also go, like I said, you can go to big box stores, Home Depot, Lowe's, Costco, whoever you know. And they're going to sell these tomatoes that are very thick stemmed. Now, I honestly, if anybody out there is watching, I literally try not to badmouth other people or other places or other stores. But a lot of those places are using a lot of chemicals. Using a lot of fertilizers. Wherever they're getting them from, they're using a lot of stuff to get those plants growing. Now, I don't know if it's safe, it's bad, or it's dangerous, whatever it is. I have no clue. We did it for years. We were buying it years and years ago before I even started doing all this on my own. And the tomatoes tasted like they did back then. I don't remember. But I honestly don't believe that as things are going, that they're going to keep polluting our food that way. But if you do feel like that is a possibility, I'm trying to be a little biased here, you can grow your own stuff at home. Like I said, watch my other videos of me growing stuff at home, harvesting stuff, bringing it inside, and eating it. I think eating it. There's been a lot of cool stuff I've done throughout the years, and this year is definitely one of the difference of many, where I'm just kind of like taking a step back, but also keep growing. Because the best way to keep growing is to keep growing, right? So I know we kind of went a little off tangent with stuff, but anyway, we have our trays, right? So with these trays, I'm going to take, let's say, the blanket flower, right? So I'm going to take a blanket flower tag and stick it there. And our blanket flower, I really want to grow with these ones. And they are supposed to be perennials, well drained, poor or even sandy soil to thrive. And it says 1 ounce per 100 square foot, 14 to 21 days to germinate, 70 to 85 days to flower, 24 to 30 inches. and water sparsely once established, as it is very drought tolerant. So we're going to start with this one. And they kind of look, like I said once before, they kind of look a little bit similar to marigolds. So we're going to put them on the soil here. That's going to be our flower of the day. And being they are perennials, once they get established, we're just going to rub them in. That's it. Just going to rub them in. Just think of Mother Nature. You know, the soil, the sun, the winds. We're just going to rub them in. You know, the winds, the birds, the fucking squirrels are digging into the soil. You know, don't get crazy about what you're doing. That's the worst thing that people do. I try to talk to people about it. I'm like, you know, you're going a little nutty, you're going a little crazy, you're worried about stuff. I'm like, think about what the birds do. Think about what the squirrels do. I spend a lot of time studying my squirrels. I got a couple squirrels that are living in a holly tree next to my house. I would love to cut down because I hate stepping on the leaves. They live in it. I got this big female squirrel that she loves living in that house, living in that tree, and she hunts me down as soon as she sees me outside. I've gotten almost less than a foot from her, giving her a peanut, and her little babies, I don't know how crazy they are, actually grew a weird liking to me, which is great. It's evolution in a way. But I